Brown up a couple of pieces of bacon. The goal is to just render the fat. I used 2 slices. You can use 2 to 4. And this will take a couple of minutes, maybe 3 to 4. Just stay with it. And now you can see I'm taking the bacon bits out. And all of that debris on the bottom is wonderful. That's going to add a lot of flavor to your soup. And just put the bacon on the side because we're going to add it in later. Now I'm going to add about a tablespoon of olive oil because I didn't feel like the bacon rendered enough fat to cook my vegetables. So we'll warm that up, and the debris is already starting to come up, but you'll see as we cook, all of that kind of integrates into the soup. So we'll start with 1 onion diced. So you'll put that into your hot soup pot. We'll stir that around. And you just want these to start turning translucent and softening up. I'm going to go ahead and add the shredded carrots in because they do take a little bit of time to soften up. So I'll put them in next. And you notice I haven't added any seasonings yet, but that is coming. Now we have some diced celery. That's 3 large ribs of celery diced. And again, you just want this to cook down. And now that it's all the vegetables are softened up, I'm going to add some vegetable magic and some garlic. We'll let that cook for about 30 seconds. Stirring it around. Remember, garlic cooks quickly, so you don't want it to burn, because then you'll have to start all over, and who wants to do that? Nobody. So I had some ham on reserve, and I'm going to add that for flavoring. If you want this to be vegetarian, then skip the bacon and just use olive oil and skip this step with the ham. If you have a ham bone maybe from the holidays, you can put that in here as well for extra flavor. Again, these flavors are all kind of marrying together. I had some green onion sausage and smoked sausage and decided to add that into this soup too. This is a very hearty soup with a whole bunch of beans. I mean, there's 12 different kinds of beans. So I felt like it needed a little bit more flavor. So that I had pre-cooked in my cast iron skillet, just browned it up a little bit. And now we're going to add in the rest of the ingredients. You're going to need 10 cups of stock. Or you could do, 5 cups of stock, 5 cups of water, whatever, you have on hand. I just use stock for the whole thing. This makes a lot of soup, and the great news is you can freeze it, which I did. So I'm going to start with 6 cups, but as this cooked during the day, I kept adding stock to it because it was getting too thick. And what you'll find with the beans, they just absorb so much liquid. You do know when you're cooking beans, you've got to soak them the night before. So these soaked through the night before. I made sure that I had at least an inch of water above the top of my beans, and I actually added more water because they just were like sponges. Putting in a bay leaf for flavor. And if you have fresh rosemary, fresh thyme, those are other things that you could add in. So here Isn't that gorgeous? Look at all those colors. So those are my beans that soaked overnight, and then I drained them in this colander, and now I'm adding them to the soup pot. Look at those black-eyed peas. You got red beans, navy beans, chickpeas, just all sorts of things. So this is a protein-packed dish. Adding a little bit more vegetable magic. And you just want to stir all of this around. And I'm going to crank up the heat a little bit. It's been on a medium because I want this to come to a boil. And once it starts boiling, I'm going to cover it, but I'm going to leave it a little bit vented. And I'm going to let it cook like this for 2 hours. I'll be checking on it periodically. And now 2 hours, the magic of video, 2 hours have elapsed. So now we're going to stir in some more ingredients. We've got fire roasted tomatoes. Stir that around. These are diced tomatoes. And now some more seasoning. 2 teaspoons of smoked paprika. Absolutely one of my favorite seasonings to use. I've got a teaspoon of cumin, a teaspoon of chili powder, and half a teaspoon of thyme. And I'm also adding in some salt. I'm just going to stir all of that around. And I also did 1/4 of a teaspoon of black pepper. So now this has got to cook down, and you can see it's starting to get thick. As I let it cook for another 30 minutes or so, I found need to add some more liquids, which I did. And I'm going to stir in the leftover bacon, or the bacon that we cooked earlier, and 1 tablespoon of red wine vinegar. So I'll mix that together, and I just let this cook for another couple of hours. Actually, I covered it, kept checking on it, and added more liquid. And just some of the beans were not softening up, so I just let it cook. So once you're finished, pull out that bay leaf, and you'll be ready to serve. Thanks for watching.